Yesterday, I pulled this turbo diesel engine and transmission out of Buster, and this is going to be the first step in determining what is wrong with this engine. If you haven't seen one of these out of a car before, these are big and they're heavy too. I know we could have pulled the head with the engine still in the car and inspected maybe the cylinder walls. We're going to get a good look at the pistons and the rods. We got to take the whole pan off. I know there's a front pan, you get to maybe piston 1 and 2, but my plan is to just go ahead and disassemble the engine. In any case, you're not going to be able to repair it by just replacing one part. And I'll explain why. This engine has suffered a catastrophic engine failure. The problem when you have catastrophic engine failure, you have what's called collateral damage and even unseen damage. Engines that have suffered catastrophic failure, and that usually means excessive overheating, where the engine quits due to overheating, or excessive oil loss, where the engine quits due to oil loss, or timing chain cut loose at high speed, messing up pistons and valves and so on. This is my hunch. I know everybody has a guess at what this noise is. It's not a normal noise, that clunk, 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 clunk. It's either going to be a wrist pin piston issue, or it's going to be a connecting rod issue. That's my guess, but after looking more closely over this engine, you saw some of this in the last part in this series. I think this engine was severely overheated. That's my hunch. The engine was severely overheated. Whatever caused the overheat, they patched it up, and then they just kept pouring water in it to drive it. And that's why it's so rusty inside. You're probably wondering why I pulled the engine and transmission out together. That's my preference. I know you can pull the transmission out and then you can pull the engine out. The problem is getting to some of these bolts up in here, particularly the bolts holding the starter, to get the transmission out. Since I'm going to pull the transmission anyway, I'm just going to take it all out. But when you do that, it requires something special, and you're looking at it right here. You're going to need an engine tilter, a wide engine tilter, in order to pull this out of a 123 or 126 with the transmission attached. Now, I'm just going to briefly show you how I set this up, and then I'm going to take you back to yesterday and show you some of the scenes of Jerson and I actually getting this out of old Buster. So there's a lift point here right at the front of these OM 617 engines, and you can see how I've used the chain to hook that into the front of the tilter. And the rear lift bracket on these engines has 2 points where you can connect the chain, and I've used that as a V to hook up to the back end of the tilter. At this point, this is when things get tough, because the engine, along with the transmission, has to be extremely tilted to get over this core support. So you have to keep tilting the engine, wiggling it, making sure clearances are good, nothing's getting damaged. Of course, a little bust here, we don't really care. We're just trying to get the engine out of the car. And this will give you a pretty good idea of how much tilt you need if you are removing the engine with the transmission, which I prefer. And you have to have a good tilter, and you have to have a good engine hoist. This is the configuration where it was when it came out of the engine, almost level, because we had to get it up at a sharp angle and then get it over that front core support. So I've got a socket on here, and you run this back and forth. There's a long threaded rod, and this moves this back and forth to tilt the engines. So what's next with Buster's engine here? The next thing, we've got to remove this transmission. And this is kind of important if you ever do this yourself, but when it was up in the air and we were working under the car, we removed the lower bolts on the bell housing, and we also removed the 6 bolts that held the flex plate to the torque converter. If you don't do that while this is in the car, you can imagine I've got to lift this way back up in the air even to get down here to get to those bolts. So what remains is we have to remove these 2 transmission oil cooler lines. We have to remove these 2 top bell housing bolts and the 2 bolts for the starter. We'll loosen up the Bowden cable here, and then we'll be able to gently, now this is really important, when you pull these transmissions off, you do not want to damage the pump. So it's like a two-man job. You pull this straight back and ease it out of the engine. Then once that's done, we'll get the head off. We'll get the cylinder head off, and then we'll take the engine, we'll put it up on its end. We'll put it right up on its bell housing, on its end. Then we'll go after the pan, and we'll start pulling the connecting rods. So in the next video, we'll just have you follow along as we take some of these things off, and we're going to find out why this engine failed.